boys and girls. This video is for Thursday, March 26th. Okay, I'm going to catch you up on a little business. Now, at the end of the week, on Friday or on Monday, you're going to turn in your work and pick up your new work. So, I'm going to show you what you need to do. You need to look in your handwriting book, in your spelling book, and in your math book, and make sure you're tearing out those pages. Okay, so some of you forgot to tear those out last week. Make sure you include them this week. And go ahead, just tear out only those pages that we've done. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is Sarah Plain and Tall. Now, we're going to finish this book probably after Tuesday of next week. And then we'll change what we're doing for reading a little bit. You know those activities that I'm having you do for science and social studies? I could just as easily do those for reading because they involve reading and writing. But I want to finish up the book Sarah Plain and Tall. Now, I realize that this book is a great level for some of you, but some of you it's a little bit longer than you're used to reading. If this is taking you a little bit longer, you can do something that I did with my kids when they were in high school. They had to read these big, thick books like this, like Jane Eyre, or Pride and Prejudice, or something like that you've never heard of, but maybe your parents have. And I'll tell you a little secret. I majored in English in college, so I actually love reading. So I told my kids, sure, I'll read with you. I'll read some and you read some. Well, you know what? For me, that was just the funnest thing ever because I love to read. So that was an excuse for me to read. I don't know if your parents like to read or not, but what I did was I would sit down on the couch and we'd both look at the book, and then my child would read a little bit, and then I'd read a little bit, and then they'd read a little bit, and then we'd talk about it. And we'd say, what's happening in the book? And then they could get through those big, thick books. So if you have a book that's a little tricky for you, you can do that with someone who's older, like a big brother or sister, or your mom and dad, and that can help you get through it if you have a book that's kind of hard for you. Now, I'm not saying that you need to be all clingy and have your mommy and daddy read you books that you can read yourself. That's not what I'm saying. But I realize that this book has no pictures, and it could be a little bit long for some of you. Let's get to our Sarah Plain and Tall lap book. Now, we're going to be working on it again this week, and then probably next week we'll be working on it for 2 days, and then you'll have a few days to finish it up. So your book should look about like this, and we're going to be working on some more vocabulary. So I'm going to show you this part close. So let's go to the vocabulary part. You should have already written prairie from down here. We talked about dune and pitchfork in our lesson yesterday on YouTube, and if you came to the Zoom session, you have feisty already. I'm looking at two words that are compound words. Compound words are two words put together. Now, pitchfork was one of those words already, but I see two others. Do you see them? I see tumbleweed, and I see troublesome. Tumbleweed and troublesome give us some hints as to what they mean because they're two words put together. So, tumbleweed, tumble, you might have heard that's something, it's sort of like gymnastics where people tumble, they do little flips or somersaults, and a weed is kind of a plant that you don't want, and if we put that together, we get tumbleweed. So it's a plant that it actually comes off the ground and it turns into kind of like a little ball, and I can show you a picture of it just a second. You notice that it detaches from the ground and will tumble around in the wind. Now, the hardest part of doing these definitions or the meanings is making it short because you don't want to write an essay in this tiny little space. So we can say plant that rolls around. Maybe that would work. It comes rooted and it rolls around, and you could draw just like a little picture of a plant it comes into a little ball, gets uprooted, and rolls around. Okay, let's look at another compound word, troublesome. So maybe you could say if somebody's troublesome, there's some trouble. They cause some trouble. So I know Caleb was worried. Is Sarah going to think that I'm too troublesome? So we could put somebody who's troublesome is annoying maybe. Causing trouble. And Caleb was worried. Will she want to stay if I'm a troublesome little boy? Let's look at our spelling for the day. Remember, we're still doing ire, and ire. You have these words cut out already. You're going to glue them on 103 here. And now you have some oddball words. Did you figure out what the oddball words are? Well, I see one right here. Where is it? There. This is not I-E-R, it's E-I-R. That's an oddball word. It's not spelled the same. And what about fur? I don't see any U-R. So this fur is like a fur coat. That's an oddball word. But this fur is like a fir tree, and that goes under I-R. So make sure you sort your words, glue them here, and take it easy on the glue. If you have glue stick, that's even better because you're going to have to write on the back. So when you write on the back, where do you get the words? Well, you can get them from your spelling list in your binder, or you can just look at the ones that you just glued down, and you're going to write ire, and ire words. Okay, hopefully you're getting the hang of doing this handwriting on your own. It's the same thing we do every day. And remember, you're going to be writing in pencil, and you're going to be writing in O. Now, the uppercase and the lowercase are nearly the same, but there's a little loop-de-loop in the uppercase. So I'm going to go around and loop-de-loop. Around and loop-de-loop. Okay? Now, for the lowercase in this font that we're doing, when I say font, I mean style. That's what they say on the computer. It's a font. But this style of handwriting, our lowercase is just an O and connect. O and connect. And you don't need to make a loop-de-loop. Now, let me show you what it looks like when you're connecting another letter. You're going to connect the other letter kind of in the middle of the letter. So this T that I just made, it doesn't go all the way to the ground like usual. It's going to be connected from the O in the middle. The same with show. I'll just show you the ending. When you make your O, that W is connected in the middle. Okay, now we're going to talk about math. Now, we just did a math test on graphing. So I'm going to give you a couple of days to work on accelerated math or freckle math. So you're going to do this on your computer. You have your choice to either do freckle math or accelerated math. Now, if you already have an accelerated math packet at home still, I want to get all of those done and scored. So if you have a packet, please finish that up and score it. And what I've done is, if you've already scored all your math packets, I've put online assignments on your accelerated math. If on freckle math, I've given you really, really short assignments to work on your math facts, and then you get to choose what you want to do. So you can either choose to do accelerated math or freckle math. If you do accelerated math, I want you to do at least one assignment. If you have a test or a diagnostic test, do that first, because that's how you're going to pass objectives. That would be what you would do first. And then if you choose to do freckle math, do Mrs. Bollinger's assignment, which is going to be really short. So it'll probably last 2 to 5 minutes. Then choose what you want, and I want you to spend 15 minutes doing it. And when I get the reports, it tells me how long you spent. So I noticed a few days ago there was one person that spent 15 minutes. There was one person that spent 2 minutes. All of that is good, but I want you to spend 15 minutes on your freckle math if that's your choice. If your choice is accelerated math, do one assignment. You can do both if you wish. You're going to have 2 days to do that. We're going to still be bringing our math books to the Zoom lesson because we're going to start working on money. But for Thursday and Friday, there will not be math book pages due. Let's talk about your science report. Now, everybody's at a different place in your science report. Now, you have it in one of these random folders that I had laying around. So it might say science, it might say social studies, it might say something else, but it says your name on it. So remember, you should have about 8 pages depending on how you cut them out. Some people cut some of them differently, some of them together, some of them separate. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to be writing your information and then coloring and cutting them out. Okay? And then I'm going to be looking at this, and when I put my initials on the back, DB, that means this is ready to write in pen. So in a week or so, I'm going to give this back to you. You'll finish writing it in pen and put it on a poster, because this is what we're going to try to end up with at the end. So this week, I'd like you to complete all the writing and hopefully all the coloring and cutting. Okay? And then in about 2 weeks, we'll have this all done on the poster. Okay, for your extra credit recess activity, you have the chance to make paper airplanes. And I showed you those pictures on Zoom of the paper airplanes that Isaiah G had made. And I'm attaching a YouTube video on how to make paper airplanes. And there's one that has step-by-step how to do it. So there's several different kinds of paper airplanes. You can make up your own if you want. The kind that I really like to make, and I used to make with my kids when I was little, is the video that I attached, where you actually put a paper clip on it and then you shoot it with a rubber band. And those paper airplanes go really far. But you have to not only have paper, but you have to have a paper clip and some rubber bands. So you might not have those supplies at home, but as far as the paper goes, you can use any paper. And if you notice on the picture that I'm showing here on the website, that's scratch paper. There's printing on the other side, so you can even use paper that you've already used before. Don't use your assignments that you have to turn in. But other than that, have fun with the paper airplanes and send me pictures. Hopefully you're keeping up, and I'm so proud of you for working hard.